derby. What's been the reaction from you and your players since then?
Well, that we had wanted performance, that we come out with the fact that we took only 1 point and the 3 were possible, and that we've shown the mental response that everybody expected from us.
David Ospina made 9 saves at Tottenham, 2 of them absolutely crucial for your side. How pleased were you for him? How much of a confidence boost was that for him too?
I believe that I told you many times in his press conferences that I rate him as a top-class, world-class goalkeeper, and I think he had been unfairly treated when I played him against Olympiacos, and it's a shame that at the time his stats did not come out in the press, and that's where I think he got unfair treatment, but I never questioned his quality.
And just lastly from me, FA Cup replay at Hull tomorrow night. What's the latest team news?
That we lose Coughlin from, of course, his bad tackle on Saturday, and everybody else looks quite medically available. I have to see how everybody has recovered today, but overall I think we should have the same squad that went to Tottenham, plus Iwobi certainly will be added to the squad.
Arsene, you're now the longest serving manager in Europe. Is that something you're aware of? Is that something you take pride from?
No, not especially, no. I think I feel privileged to have the confidence of the club for such a long time. On the other hand, I think I work 7 days a week with full commitment, and I'm not part-time. Since I'm here, I've shown full commitment, and that's all I can do. But apart from that, I believe it's a privilege to work at the club of that stature for such a long time.
You say you're privileged to have had the backing of the club for all that time, but in all that time you've been here, do you feel you're perhaps under more pressure now than at any other stage in the last 20 years?
I have always the same pressure. It's the pressure I apply to myself, that's always the same. After that, what people talk, you have more people talking than 20 years ago, more opinions, but that doesn't change the pressure. The real pressure comes from your desire to win the next game. That's the only one that matters, really.
But you're saying there are more people have opinions. In the last couple of days alone, I've seen reports suggesting the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira being lined up to replace you. There's always the talk from the fans on the phone. Is it possible to say that pressure isn't out there, it's only the pressure that you put on yourself?
Look, I believe that opinions are opinions. I do my job, and someday somebody will replace me, will replace you. That's part of life, and as long as you work somewhere, you give your best. That's what the work is, the quality people do, and that's what I try to do, is to give my best to leave this club one day in a shape that the guy coming after me will have a good potential to work.
Given the weekend's results with Leicester winning again and yourselves and Tottenham only taking a point, and the situation going into the second leg against Barcelona, is it fair to say that the FA Cup is the most realistic chance for silverware for Arsenal this season? And will that then influence your team selection, given you made 9 changes going into the first match against Hull?
I just would remind you that I made 10 changes in the first game. So I believe that we play the team with a good chance to qualify, and no matter who plays. And David Ospina is just an example of that on Saturday. I have the same respect and the same, I think I have exactly the same idea that every player in my squad who I have can play and can win the game tomorrow.
Is the FA Cup the most realistic chance of silverware?
You don't think like that. I believe the championship is far from being over. I'll just remind you that we have beaten twice Leicester, so we have done our job against them. And so people have more to look at the other teams, not too much at us on that front. and that we will not give up in the championship. We'll fight until the end.
There have been questions raised over whether that fight, that spirit was there. How much of a difference does it make that you've shown down to 10 men against Spurs at the weekend to come back and get a point there? And how much of a boost do you think that will give in terms of confidence going forward this season?
Again, I think when people question the spirit, it doesn't mean they are right at all. Our spirit was questioned about Swansea. I invite you to watch the game again and again, and that would be sometimes welcome for the journalists to do that, and they would change a little bit their opinion. And secondly, we can only go on the pitch and do our job, no matter what people say. That is not an excuse. What people say is not to influence us. What we want, they have to be influenced by our desire to win the game, and by giving our best.
Just on a more general point, there's the IFAB meeting this weekend, and they agreed that they are going to give a trial to video technology on goals, on red cards, and so on. Are you in favour of that?
Yes, of course. It depends how they do it, and I think the next step has to be the offside, and to be treated like a goal line technology, exactly the same. That is the easiest step to do, and all the other ideas for me are at the moment too premature, but the offside can be treated very well and in a scientific way, and that should be the only next step.
Arsene, when you arrived here 20 years ago, did it ever cross your mind then that you'd still be here 20 years later?
Never. And doesn't cross my mind at the moment that I'll be here in 20 years.
But you probably won't be here in 20 years' time. In terms of this match against Hull, this is the first of 4 games in 10 days, isn't it? Where does it rate in terms of importance for you?
Look, you see very well when we are in a position we always have to win the next game. So it is always the most important game of our life, because it is treated like that by everybody else, and that's the way we treat it. It is the most important game of the season for us because it's the next one.
Given that the fans were getting a bit restless at the weekend, what is your message to the Arsenal fans now?
Behave properly everywhere, and respect everybody. Like we have these values at the club. That's what you want to do.
Arsene, are you happy with the scheduling of this game? Because there was a lot of talk about when it would actually take place.
Sorry?
Are you happy with this game going ahead tomorrow? Because there was a lot of talk about when this game would actually be played after the first game.
Look, we had no choice because the next round in the FA Cup is next Saturday, so we had to fit it in somewhere. And ideally, it's not the best position for us, but I couldn't see any other solution as well.
The fact that it's such a quick turnaround after Saturday, will that mean you will have to make quite a few changes?
I will have to, but I'm not so much concerned about replacing one player by another one, but it's more I have to rotate a little bit and keep the right balance in the team.
It must be unusual to plan for a week where you actually don't know who you're going to play at the weekend.
Yes, but that will depend on our result tomorrow night, and we'll adapt from that result.
You mentioned Alex Iwobi as well. He's somebody you've looked to integrate more this season. Why is that? What do you see in him?
What I see in him is a creative player, and who has a high level of work rate, and has a good team spirit. And overall, I think he's a player who develops very well because he has a big passion for the game, and overall he can score a goal as well. I think he can play on the flanks, can play through the middle. He's a very interesting player.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.